So today we're talking about evaluating functions. Make sure you get your date, page number, learning target, and all that good stuff, and you get it in your table of contents. This is done on your own paper today. Also on this next slide and all the future slides, make sure you get the stuff in blue and everything I write. So if you need to pause it, do so, but basically when you're working with a function, it's normal to use function notation, and we talked about what a function was yesterday. Functions pass the vertical line test, or for every input x value, you have exactly one y value. So when working with functions in function notation, basically what you need to understand is that if I ever have a y, it is the exact same thing to say f of x. So anytime you have a y, you can replace it with f of x, and that's how you read it, f of x. That's what that says. So basically, this equation, if I wrote it in function notation, would be the same thing as saying f of x is equal to this. So when I'm evaluating functions, what you're doing is you're given an input, you're given an x, you plug it in to this function, and you get something out that's your y value, or your f of x, because those mean the same thing. So looking at example 1, it says using the given function, evaluate it for f of negative 2. Well, first of all, that's not in function notation, so I'm going to have to start there and rewrite it. So instead of y, this is the exact same thing as writing f of x is equal to 2x plus 5. So this is the same thing. I haven't changed anything. I just wrote it in function notation. Now, when I go to evaluate for f of negative 2, basically this is saying, see how this is f of negative 2 and this is f of x? This is saying if x equals negative 2, what is y? Or what is f of x? So what you're going to do is for every x you see in the function, you're going to put a negative 2 in its place. Well, order of operations tells me I have to multiply first, so I would get negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 5, bring that down, I haven't touched it. Negative 4 plus 5 is 1. Therefore, f of negative 2 is 1. That's it. This just says in the function, I put negative 2 in for x, and my answer was 1. Let's try one more. It's already in function notation, so I don't have to do anything. Again, they want me to use negative 2 for x. I can use anything, but this time they said to use negative 2. So if I'm going to evaluate this as f of negative 2, then I'm going to put negative 2 in for every x that I see in this function. So I would get 3 over 2 times x is negative 2 plus 7. Well, when I multiply 3 over 2 and negative 2, I should get negative 3. Negative 3 plus 7 is 4. So my answer, whenever I put negative 2 into the function, that's what it says. I'll put in negative 2 into my function, my answer was 4. I got 4 out. And that's it. That's evaluating functions. So that's as hard as it gets.